जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्युर्ध्रुवं जन्ममृतस्य च तस्मात् परिहार्येऽर्थे न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि.
Chapter 2, Shloka 27. For certain is death for the born and birth for the dead. Thus what is inevitable need not be the cause of thy suffering. Such a simple and profound truth that is at the basis of all life. And yet, it is so difficult to truly understand and to truly live our lives while we are here upon earth, understanding deeply this simple yet profound truth. This simple yet profound truth is not only applicable to the physical material body, it is applicable to everything that we build, be it our personalities, our families, our relationships, our organizations, everything that as human beings that we build, unless they are perpetually reborn, they will go through. And if they are on the path of yoga, then they will grow through the cycles of birth and death. We've heard it so many times that birth and death are like cycles. But yet, it's such a difficult truth to make peace with, to truly understand, to truly fathom, to truly understand the implications of it. We all know for certain is death for the one who's taken birth, unless we truly evolve as human beings to being perpetually reborn in the image of the Spirit. This cycle of everything that is born will die. We all know, and we find it a very disconcerting truth. Which is why when somebody dies or passes away, our hearts are grief-stricken. We find it very, very difficult to digest it. And we fondly miss the person who's passed away. And the vacuum that gets created in our lives because of the emptiness of the person going away from our lives. And then there is the other side of the coin. For certain is birth for the dead. And that is what gives a greater faith and peace and conviction. But how does one know? Physically, materially, I experience the birth of a child, and then I experience the death of the same child when that person grows up and grows old. But what I don't physically, sensorially experience is the birth of the death. And because I'm not aware of that mystery, because I'm ignorant of that mystery, so I live in half-truth. And like they say, half-truths are more dangerous. And thus I continue to live in the suffering of the half-truth. The fact that the one who takes birth dies. That I experience, feel grief for. But what I'm yet not aware of, in my experience, I may have heard it mentally, but in my experience, I haven't come to the realization that everything that dies comes back. And the only way to have this realization is to come in touch with the spirit inside of us. That one part of our being that neither takes birth nor it dies, that is eternal. And when one gets a little spark of that part of being, one begins to see that everything in the world of forms is continually moving in cycles. Things are coming together for a greater synthesis, and then they're breaking apart into different trajectories. Lives are taking birth on earth to grow through a certain experience, and then they go back to the source from which they came, and then they return back upon earth for further learning and evolution. And then slowly, that which is eternal will make in its image all the forms on earth, and the very creation on earth will develop the habit of being perpetually reborn. And that would be the physical, material immortality on earth, something that the human race has aspired for from ages altogether. Thus, this realization brings a great inner peace. Now, up close and personal, let us say you build something with a lot of your heart, emotion, energy, all of your being, with all of your conviction. And let's say that organization falls apart. Now, as that organization falls apart, because you were so intensely invested in it, you feel like you yourself are falling apart. Same with a relationship. When you invest a lot of your time, energy, attention, intention, goodwill into a relationship, and let's say you have to move away from that person, and it could be a romantic relationship, it could be a friendship, it could be a relationship between two colleagues. But whenever that parting happens, one experiences a death of a certain sort. It creates a trauma, it creates a grief, it creates immense pain and suffering inside of us. But what if we realize that everything that dies doesn't permanently die? Everything that dies is born again. Then the question that arises is, what in that relationship does not die? What is the truth in that relationship that you built and that built you, that does not dissolve with the dissolution and the death of the form? And that is how the process of building that organization, how the process of building that relationship evolved you in the process, evolved the other person in the process. No death is a permanent death. What you've learned, what you've grown into, nobody can snatch it away from you. And whatever closes and dies, eventually, in a new form, at the right time, in the right way, takes birth. We often get too attached to the form. And no, I'm not saying it's the same person that will return in your life or the same organization that you will build. Because forms, they are not permanent. But the essence of your experience, the learnings of your experience, the truth of your experience, the evolution that experience caused in your life, that stays. And with that which seems to have died today will take a birth again at the right time, in the right moment. This is an extremely profound teaching, actually, especially when one begins to understand how one can apply it in one's own spiritual journey as one travels here on earth, because one's ego has to die multiple deaths till the time you become one with that which never dies. Otherwise, with each death of your identity and ego, you feel like your life is over. It is not, because that which is over is not eternal. It is meant to die. And it will come back in a new form, in a new way, in a more evolved way into your life. And so we grow through cycles in our one lifetime and across the different lifetimes. Coming back to the context of Arjuna, he is grief-stricken because he feels by following the path of dharma, his loved ones will die. And Krishna gives him the assurance that it's only the body that dies. And whatever is born dies, and whatever is dead is born. And that's inevitable. That's the cycle of life. That need not make you grief-stricken. With that, I'd like to ask you this question. How does learning about this perspective on life and death changes your perspective on your life and the purpose of your life? Share with us in the comments below, and I shall see you in the next video.
I hope you found the video to be useful. If you would like to continue your journey with us, if you would like to help us support you in your journey, click on the link below and join us for a 2.5-hour signature masterclass called the Awakening Karma Yogi Workshop, where we run you through the fundamental stages of awakening to become a Karma Yogi, to be peaceful inside and successful outside. We talk about Swabhava, our true nature, and Swadharma, our soul's purpose, which are the building blocks of a life affirming, not a life negating spirituality. So if you found this video to be useful, click on the link below and I shall see you at the workshop.